So I feel like dumplings, but I'm not allowed to bring gluten inside the house or I'll be in big trouble, which means I need to make gluten-free wrappers myself. Now, I am terrible at making dough and I've never really made dumplings before, but instead of consulting experts, I'm just gonna jump in and figure it out as I go along. And since that's our attitude from the beginning, we'll just do everything the hard way.
Proper dumplings are made with ground pork that cooks while you steam it, but this cut was on sale. We're gonna make a dry rub out of garlic, shallot, salt, pepper, ginger, more ginger, and fresh lime juice. Marinating is for frying. This will have plenty of time to soak in. I'm going to cover both sides in flavor and get this in the oven at 225 Fahrenheit for a few hours. It's not quite pullable, but it's super tender and smells like we're on the right track. Let's get some ginger and garlic in a pan, and then add more shallot and the white part of a scallion. We'll sprinkle in more pepper and some salt, and then struggle to get some sauerkraut out of a jar. I'm using sauerkraut instead of raw cabbage because it's already tender and adds that nice fermented flavor profile to the pork and ginger, but we need to be careful that I don't turn this into a Polish kapusta. We'll add some sherry because I don't have Shaoxing wine, tamari around the edge of the pan to pretend I have a proper wok, and then add the scallion greens and chives along with the roughly chopped pork. This is really turning into Polish-Chinese fusion. I don't know if we'll get this back on the rails. Gluten-free flour is rough to work with, so we're going to use the tortilla flour method of adding water until the dough binds without being sticky, and then add a splash more to help with dehydration. Parchment paper isn't ideal, but I can't bring myself to roll flour directly on the counter. Getting the right thickness is one of the hardest parts. I found 1 mil to be the sweet spot for handling. You don't need to roll it out in the compass directions, I just don't know what I'm doing. We'll cut the first wrapper out with our high-tech pierogi machine. Sticking means it's too wet, I think. Wet the edges to help with the seal, pack your filling, and fold it like a taco. Dumpling pleats are formed by folding one side into the edge as you go across, causing the dumpling to curl around to one side. This dough doesn't seem to want to fold, however, so it's just a messy edge. I have a solution though. We'll just make pierogi. Boil for a minute or two until they float. We only need to cook the dough since the filling's already prepared. Then it's into a hot pan with butter for the final crisp. Polish tradition would have this plated with fried onions and ham, but we'll garnish with some more scallion for contrast for the Instagram picture. Now we're free to add them to some soup.
Alright, so now we have our Chinese-inspired Polish pierogi inside our Vietnamese pho broth. Uncle Roger can't say you're wrong when he doesn't know what you're doing. So with all the ginger and seasoning, these are phenomenal on their own, but once you mix it in with all the aromatics and fragrance from the pho broth, they are fantastic. 6 stars out of 5, highly recommend making stuff up in the kitchen. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.